Hello, Hateless Gaming here, bringing you another Zero to Hero update. I don't have a whole lot to say except for this Gila is freaking fantastic. So we bought a couple of daily injectors since the last update, and we've also bought, we bought a couple of daily injectors. And our ISK is up to 412 million ISK. I played, so we did day 35. The last update was on day 30, so we did 5 days, which means about 10 hours. Yeah, about 10 hours since the last update, plus another 2 because we did 12 hours of gameplay in that time, and we've made 500 to 550 million ISK. It isn't quite as good as I wanted it to be, but it's doing really well, and we're really proud of it. The skills that we've trained in the last week, we've been focusing less on our drone skills and more on our missile skills to kind of get those up so that the missile side of the Gila can do a lot better, and it is helping. We're going to go to the history right here. I'm going to show that we've trained missile bombardment, light missiles to 3, missile bombardment, shield rigging up to 3, which helped our signature radius, train warhead upgrades up to 2, drone durability got to 3, and drone avionics got to 4, which helped with the drone range. And then we got warhead upgrades to 3, and I'm currently training light missiles to 4, followed shortly after by light missiles to 5, so that we can use tier 2 launchers and get that Fury ammo rocking and get that additional DPS, which will help us out a lot. Our total net worth has crawled up to 878 million ISK, and our current skill points is 3.6 million, and we have 105,000 free skill points that I'm going to save for when we go Omega. We should be able to get there in a couple weeks. I think in about 2 weeks we'll be able to go Omega and potentially get out of the Gila. But I think that getting the Gila into tier 4 is probably going to be the most lucrative thing that we can do right off the bat. So we're probably going to go that route. But that's really all I have to say to you guys for the update. However, I wanted to talk a little bit about Gilas with you guys. There is 2 kinds of ways you can fly the Gila. There's a third if you include the hybrid gamma way. But I'm going to talk to you about why I don't recommend feeder Gilas. Or that's what Funsby likes to call them, is feeder Gilas. Why I don't recommend you fly a passive Gila, and why I really recommend active Gilas. So if I open up the fitting window here, we can see that this Gila is an active Gila, and it is cap stable inside of Abyss. I think it's like plus 3 or 4 cap. And because it's cap stable in Abyss, it can run all day. So it has 124 HP a second, and it's cap stable inside of an electrical. If you're running outside of an electrical, you'd have to make a few variations. But I wanted to compare this to a standard Gila. We're going to ignore this stat, because this stat changes when you go electrical and not electrical. We're going to look at what happens in certain rooms and why this Gila is safer than the other. I have both of the fits that we're going to compare right here, so we can, the baby is my current fit, and the feeder Gila is the fit that most people are told, hey, yeah, just go get this Gila, hop in the tier 3 Abyss, and you'll be fine. And I'm going to explain why that is not exactly the case. So first off, the stats to pay really big attention to are your resistances when things are active. We have 50, 60, 70, 75. And our resistances when things are inactive, which should be the same for both of them. And then the fact that the active Gila has a really high chance of never turning off his hardeners. Like, there's no reason active Gila should ever have to turn off his hardeners, because under nuke pressure, they can stay on. We turn off the booster to generate a bit of additional cap, which is really helpful. And we can also continue running the booster even under nuke pressure because we still get some of that. And then we also keep our prop mod on. That is very critical. There's one room that is very deadly to all Gilas, and that is when you get the Karen spawn, which is the battleship. And that Karen spawn is escorted by Webers and enemy newts, which is really scary when those things all happen together. Because what happens is if you kill the Webs first, then the newts get to hit you, and then your prop mod and your hardeners get shut off, and it's really hard to get them back on with the passive fit because it doesn't have any cap regen. And then you're kind of in trouble. Whereas this fit doesn't have that problem. It still gets to keep on moving. It still gets to do things. Or vice versa, you kill the newts, you keep everything on, but now you're webbed. And then the Karen can hit you really hard, or the the drifter battleship can hit you really hard. The big stat that's really important in that situation when you're under web pressure and you're getting slowed down and you don't have as much tank, you need as much time as you can get. The signature radius is something that's critical. You get your transversal up in that room, and then the signature radius being smaller and the active fit helps out so much in reducing the damage because you're moving at similar speeds, and also helps a lot when you're webbed. Whereas the standard feeder Gila has a 260 meter signature radius. That's a lot. Getting 100 additional signature radius from 171 to 160, I guess that's 90. But getting that additional signature radius really hurts the ship. And even with max skills, I think max skills gives you like 85 passive shield recharge or 80 to 85 passive shield recharge. And you're not spending a whole lot more to go active. In fact, you could probably even make this cheaper, but this is the active fit with regular large shield extenders. Most people will use Republic Fleet shield extenders, and then that makes the fit another 100 million more expensive because they're 30 to 40 million a piece. And 3 times 30 is 90. You end up spending more running a passive Gila than you do an active Gila. So the fact that, or the opinion that people say that it's cheaper is not necessarily true. So what happens when this guy gets newts or gets any newt pressure on it? It immediately, because it has no cap ability, you have to shut things off to keep things alive. So your Afterburner and your Hardeners get shut off. And then after you killed the problem, you still have the DPS running down on you. And once your cap gets below a certain point, you don't regen enough. So once it's off, it generally stays off for a while. If it stays off for a while, you're in a lot of trouble, and it's not great. Aside from those two traits, these healers are very comparable to each other. And this Gila with max skills will be successful in Abyss about 85 to 95% of the time, depending on your skills and your piloting ability. Just the active Gila can be successful 95 to 100% of the time, again, depending on your piloting ability. And it just, the cap battery gives you so much. It gives you a bigger capacitor, which is huge. It gives you energy neutralizer resistance by 27 for each one that you have. Most active Gilas, if it's not running in an electrical, will have 2 batteries, but you get 2 of these. So you get a 27 and another 27 if you use another Republic fleet, regardless of the size. So that gives you roughly 50% capacitor E-War resistance. So you only get half the newt pressure. And that means that if you're destined for getting 20 gigajoules a second put into you or taken away from you, that gets brought down to 50 or 10, which is incredibly helpful. So that's just kind of why I prefer the active Gilas. They're a lot safer to run. They do require a little bit more paying attention when you do get those rooms with energy neutralizers than the passive Gilas, in that you have to turn off and on the repper. But when you don't have to worry about turning off and on the repper, which is only in the energy neutralizer rooms, you just leave everything on. Everything else is the same. You still have to kill things in the same way. You still have to do all the things. I'd say, if anything, you have to pay more attention in a passive fit, because you need to be a little bit more aware, and you can't make as many mistakes to survive. So that's just my 2 cents on passive versus active healers, and I wanted to rant about that a little bit on YouTube, as I've done it on Twitch a lot. I haven't really done it a whole lot on YouTube, but I'll go over my fit here. It's a really solid starter Gila fit, and I do have this up on Eve Workbench as well. This is designed specifically for electricals. We have Malkuth rapid light missile launchers because we don't have the skills to use tier 2, and our ballists are 9 million a piece at the moment. So we get an additional, I think it was 20 DPS for 45 million. It depends on you if you think it's worth it. But I don't think that cost is worth it. These guys are next to free, so we have 4 of those. We have a drone link augmentator. This gives us an additional 20 on our drone control range, which is really helpful. Sorry, that was the wrong stat. It is right here. The drone control range goes from 40 to 60, and that is incredibly useful, having the extra drone control range. That means pretty much as soon as we can lock things, there's only a 5-kilometer dead spot. As soon as we can lock things, we can send our drones out at them. We have 2 multi-spectrum shield hardeners, and they don't turn off ever for any reason. And then our Afterburner is the same. It never turns off. The only thing that we ever have to turn off and on is the Pithum medium shield booster, which is what we have. We have the Pithum C-type medium shield booster, and then a copacetic compact shield boost amplifier, which is the cheap one, not good for, it's just a super cheap one. You can use an Ionic as well, and you can use a couple of other things too. And then we have a Monopropellant Enduring Afterburner just to give us a little bit of extra cap. It's not world breaking. You can use a YS8 as well, or you can use a Faction Dead Space one if you want to spend more money. And then we have a Republic Fleet Large Chat Battery, and then 3 drone damage amplifiers. And then we have 3 solidifiers. 1 is tier 2, and 2 are tier 3. And then one last thing that this Gila has over the passive Gila is that you can overheat the booster. And overheating the booster gives you an additional about 30% shield boost rate, which brings our tank up significantly. And that's a really big deal, being able to overheat. That's one thing that I forgot to mention in the rant. You can overheat the rep, which can save you in a lot of situations against harrowing. When your stuff's about to break, you can actually overheat and survive. But with that being said, I hope you guys fly fun. Enjoy your time in EVE Online. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah, fly fun, enjoy your time in EVE Online. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe there. It helps my channel more than you think to hit that like button, to hit the subscribe button, and to make comments. It really does. If you're watching until the end, I would believe that you would like to support the channel. And that is the easiest, freest way you can do that. You can also come and check me out on twitch.com, which also helps the channel as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one.